welcome class and other people around the world for day 2 of our Google Apps Forms class. So today we're going to be creating a form, a simple form, and by now everybody should have, as part of their Larson Proactive Employment Plan, everybody should have the type of business that they want to have or what they want to do as their calling or destiny position. Everybody should have that. If you don't have it, just come up with something quickly in the next 10 or 15 seconds that you want to do to create this form on. So it could be a business that you know and don't dislike. All right?
Hello, Las Vegas.
Hello, California.
How are you?
Let's see, our speakers on.
Yeah, I'm the speakers on.
We can see you, but we can't hear you.
Okay, we can hear you.
One of our problems.
This right here?
Yeah, listen, no, I know it's kind of hard to hear, but
Okay, try it again. There we go.
how are you, Ed?
Good. Now it looks like Joe's sitting in the front.
Right. Yeah, Joe's right there.
How's the new campus working out?
It's working out good. It's been challenging week, but we pulled through. Students were great, very understanding.
Good. Okay, well, glad to see everyone. So today we're doing day 2 of forms, and we're going to start with a form, start with an idea for a form, and if you don't know what you want to do for your calling or destiny position, just come up with something you've done. We can't waste time agonizing over the perfect ultimate job you want to do. You want to focus on the form. So step 1 was the company, right, or the position. Okay, what's the next thing on the instructions? What? Okay. Okay, then what? Okay, so yes, Marcella.
We put a name on the company. What you got?
Well, you're doing this as an example for them, right? So this could be when you get there, when you have your interview, you have to be positioning yourself, you have to be setting this up so when you say, I can make you more money or save you more money than anyone else applying, because I know the cloud, you want them to challenge you on that. You want that to be a setup question. What do you mean? Okay, so then you need to be ready to answer. So one way is to talk about a form. Okay, so let's come up with a form for competitors. Okay, it's not a thing that most people do. Okay? What? Oh, okay. All right, so what is the first thing that we do to create a form?
Title.
No, that's not the first thing.
Think about what we want around.
Go to your drive, right. So we're going to go back to the very first thing. Okay, this is like how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Start with the bread. Okay, now you go to your drive. No, you don't title it. Then what do you do? Open what? No, you go to the folder in your drive that is the appropriate folder. So where would this folder be in your drive?
Employment plan.
Work folder.
Okay, it could be work or it could be part of your employment plan. I would put it under work. Okay, so you go to your drive, appropriate folder, then what?
New.
Click new. Okay, then what?
Go to more.
Go to what?
More.
No, but after that,
Click new.
form. Okay, then you create a form. Now what do you do? Manual.
You title.
Right, give it a title. Okay, what kind of name are you going to put on this form?
The name of the position.
Okay, remember, when you're naming things, you got to think in terms of, I'm going to have this file forever. I can't remember every file name for the next 5 years. So I got to have a logical way to figure out what is this document, what is this form. Okay, it could be if you're doing it just as an assignment, proactive employment plan, you might do it that. You might do it as a, you might call it a competition form.
I called it my test form.
What's the test part?
Huh? See if I can create.
Okay, so that really wouldn't be a good title for the future. Why? 5 years from now, why would you think about calling it, looking for it as my test form?
All right, my first form.
Okay, all right, so maybe that would be a way to do it. But I would either have it by what it does, competition form, or who it's for, name of the company. So if it's the name of the company, it could be Hetza Petza competition form, competitors form. Okay, so don't forget the important step that when you name a form, you're going to want to find this form 5 years from now. When you have this drive, how many gigabytes? 15? How many gigabytes do you have? 15? Okay. When they give you this, there's no reason to change in the future. When we went through Gmail, you can add other email accounts to this so you can keep this as your thing. All you have to do is just change your password. And it's as secure as if you go set up your own account separately. But the reason to keep this is for those people who graduate, you'll still have access to everything in one LTC LV on the drive. You'll still have access to everything that we did and subsequent classes do here. So when Telus comes back now, or before he came back here, he still had access to the drive, and he could see all of the stuff that's happened since he graduated. So you're going to want to keep this email account, just change your password. That means you're going to keep your drive, right? Right, Jose? You're going to keep your drive. Therefore, you should be able to, you should get in the habit of setting it up and naming files and setting up folders so that you can find them in the future. Don't think in terms of, I only need this for 16 weeks, then screw it. You should be thinking in terms of, I'm going to have this for the next 20 years. Okay, so name it appropriately. Now what? Now what do we do?
Create it.
Well, you already created it.
Share it.
Okay,
Share it.
so in this case, share it just so you don't forget. So you're doing kind of housekeeping things first. I usually share them last because that's the habit I've gotten into. That's the pattern. That's my routine. My checklist is I share it last because I don't want other people jumping in on it before I'm done. Okay, so you can share it or not share it. Now, what are you ready to start doing?
Right now.
Okay, so what I do now, what you should do now is make sure you have a piece of paper like your composition book handy so you can start writing down the stuff that you're going to do. It's a lot easier to have a piece of paper and write out the different fields that you're going to have, especially if you plan on having more than one page. It's good to have the piece of paper sitting next to you. It's a lot faster if you do that. And then, so on my piece of paper, in my composition book, over on this page, I would have page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. And then I would do something like that. And I would be thinking in terms of, am I going to have any outside links that I'm going to send people to off the form? So, for example, on La Voce, we have subscriptions. If you want to pay, go to a secure credit card site. It has links in the La Voce form, in this particular advertising La Voce form, for you to leave this form, go to another form. So you got to be thinking about these things. Think about the path that you're going to be going down. Just don't think in terms of, okay, I'm going to be looking down at my feet as I'm on this journey. Be thinking of where is it you want to end up. Okay, so let's get to the question. Oh no, before the question, what's the first thing you fill in at the top of your form?
The title.
Okay, so it's that kind of title section, right? So you have the title, and then below that is like a description, right? Anybody lost? Anybody lost? Okay, you don't need to put the date in. Why don't you need to put in the date?
Change it every day.
No, why don't you need to put the date in?
Because every response is timestamp.
Right, every time somebody completes a record, creates a record, it's timestamped. So the only reason you want to have a date is if, like in the La Voce thing, it's what month do you want to have this advertising start? Okay, but that's not today. It could be a different day. So you have that in description. Okay, what's question number 1
Question
in our
title.
competition form? Okay. What's question number 1?
Question title.
Title.
No. What's the question?
Who's the competitor? What's the name of the competitor?
Okay. Okay. Competitor's name.
That would be the question.
Yeah, that's what you fill in. That's the question that you are asking to be answered. Okay, but how do you create that first question? How do you go about doing it?
T-shirt.
No,
You find the competitors.
no. We're creating the form. We're not filling out the form.
Click in the box that says untitled question.
Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, put my title question. Question time. Which one, thanks.
So I'm just going to put it in the form, Google form. Okay. So what is this called?
Competition form.
Okay. So I might call it Petsa's competitors. I might call it that. Okay. Down here I put in a description. Okay. Question title.
What's your description?
Huh?
What's your
What did you put in?
My description is these are the primary competitors for Petsa. It's just something simple. Question title, business name, or competitor's name. Okay. Do I have any help text?
No.
What kind of a question type is this?
Text.
This helps us move.
Text.
So back to the form description.
Okay. Now, do I do anything else on
Make
this
it
question?
required. The required.
Okay, right, required. This is a required question. What's the point of filling out the form if you're not going to put in the name of the competitor? Okay, what's another question? So how do I get to ask the next question?
That item.
Right, add item. Now I can just click add item and it's going to do the same type of question. Or what if I push this down arrow? What
Whatever your
happens?
options if you want to scan.
Right, so I can do different things. I'm just going to do the same thing. So what's the next question?
There's location.
Okay. Now at this point, I would just put location. Because I already know I'm talking about the competitor, just to save space and time. Okay, now, is this a required question? No. Why not?
It might have
Their address.
location.
The location. So actually, that should be address.
You said that would be required,
No, you said it wouldn't be.
Why?
because you know your competitor.
No. Okay, I wouldn't make this a required question because
They would have to look it up.
the first time through, what I might be doing is, the first time I do this, I might just want to write down all the names of the competitors I can think of and then come back later and fill it out. So I wouldn't have that. Now, what's the next question? Next obvious question. After address. Obvious question. Obvious question after address.
Phone number.
City,
Oh, city.
city, state. Yep. Okay, and then I would put in their phone number, right? What do I do after that? What do I add after that?
Zip code.
Hmm?
Zip code or second.
I already have that.
Cell.
City, state, zip.
A box for notes.
You go to question type.
Now, what's the next question?
Gotta do
We're creating a form.
service.
What are you doing?
I'm doing the same thing you do, but I'm saying, you keep asking me questions, I'm wondering where you.
We're creating a form. Okay, what's the next logical question? I have their name, address, city, state, zip, phone number. What's the next obvious question?
Their email address.
Who?
Person that's filling it out. Or is this still for the company?
So if you're filling it out. So the next obvious question should be their website. And then I would do Facebook, Twitter, other social media. Okay, so what are we doing? We're just creating like a phone book type thing, right? For them, who is the competitor? Once I know who the competitor is, then what do I want to know about the competitor?
I got it.
How are they?
How are they?
Are they better than me?
Okay.
You want to know their,
How much of a threat they are,
yeah,
right?
their customers.
Okay, so, we do the simple thing that we learned in school. So we start with the who. Two is what. Where. When. Why. How. And then what else? What would we put out? What other important stuff would we want to know about competitors?
Their hours of operation, maybe.
Kind of the way.
Customers,
way.
their amount of customers, the amount of money produced by that company, by ads or means of employees.
Okay. So this is what their, let's say their competitive advantages.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we have their advantages, what else are we going to add? Yeah, their weaknesses. And then what else would we have? We'd always have a section for notes. Okay, or special information. Right?
No,
Hmm?
sounds like we should have.
Yeah. So if you're going into a job interview and you're going to talk to them about, I know the cloud and I can help you make money or save money, you better have a form that has value, right? If you go in there and you have a form and they can start using the form, is that going to make you look good or not good?
Very good.
Okay. Now, if the form is an idea, but when they look at the form, it's not really a good form, right? It's like, you're not going to make me money. You don't add anything. What you add is a waste of time. Okay, so you have to make sure that the form is something that you can step back, do like Nancy Cohen said, walk around it, and see if the form has any value. If it doesn't have value, then you need to go back and fix it so it does have value. You could have on here a ranking. So in other words, when you're doing when you have your spreadsheet and you're sorting these things, you might want to say, well, let's sort them from the strongest competitors to the weakest competitors, right? How do you do that if you don't have a ranking thing?
Like we have on our recital form.
Right, okay? So that's another option that you have on this form. Okay, what else do we put on this form? Okay, let's say we have our form done. Should this form be one page or more than one page?
One page.
Okay, one page, more than one page. So the who, how many questions do we have up there right now?
Questions for 1 page.
Name, address,
We got
city,
6.
state, zip. There's 6 questions up there now? Okay.
Name, address, city, state, phone, website.
Okay, so that's just who. Those are just who questions, right? Who is this competitor? We haven't gotten to what do they do. So I would probably have this form on multiple pages just because there could be 30 or 40 questions. And if you see a form, you go to a form and you start scrolling down and you see how long it's going to take, a lot of people won't start. Right. So if you have multiple pages, they don't know how long the form is. That's why when you do these survey questionnaires, have you ever noticed they have multiple pages? So you don't know when you're almost done. And if you think I'm almost done, you're likely to keep going than if you think you just started.
It's a trick when you telephone survey people. You never, no matter how long it is, you never say how long it's going to take. It's always just a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
and you keep throughout the conversation. Thank you, we're almost done.
Yeah,
Even if
good
you're
point.
5 minutes in and you're a quarter, thank you so much, we're just about there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I would do here too. Especially now, how are you going to use this in your interview?
Turn it in and just hand it to them?
No, never. That's
No?
not the cloud. That's not the cloud.
Okay.
When you finish, make your form viewable by anyone with a link.
Yeah.
Well, you do that. You want to do that, but you're now sitting in your interview and you've set the guy up to ask you about this form. Do you want to just describe the form to him?
No.
What do you want to do? You don't want to hand it to him. What do you want to do?
Show him.
Explain how you did it.
Show him.
Yeah, you want him to see it.
To learn it.
So I would have either a business card, if I had business cards, I would write on the back of the business card the shortened URL to get to the form. How do you shorten a URL?
Use the Google URL for it.
Right, exactly. How do we get that?
Well, there's, you can go and get it as an extension.
Right, okay, or a app,
Or an app.
okay? I have it as an app. I have it on my bookmarks bar. So you use the Google URL shortener. See, I have it up here on the bookmarks bar. So let's go back to the form. Oh.
Yeah, it says, it has a short URL on your send form too.
Which one is it?
Yeah, that's good. Is that the same thing on your form?
So this is what the form looks like now. I want to get that address. So I copy the address, I go to my URL shortener, I paste it in here, I press shorten URL, and then I have it here. So what I would then do, take that, http goo.gl/g4 bxpf, I would write it on the back of a business card, because I could put that in my pocket. And I could just say, here's the form I created, and hand him the card. And if I didn't have a card, where can I find a business card?
On his desk.
Okay, I might have his card. I might have gotten one at the front desk when I checked in to set my appointment. Oftentimes they have everybody, other people's business cards that are right on the back of the card. And I would say, go to this. I created this. Here's an example. You want to know how I would save you money or make you money? Here's one example I did in a very short period of time. Boom. What's the probability the guy has a computer on his desk? High, unless you're meeting in the conference room.
You know, sometimes people, instead of like saying write down XPs, and going through that, they have something where you can scan. How do you do that? You know what I'm talking about? People say, well, this is my card, you can scan it.
Like a Sonic card.
You know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Well,
Is that
to
like,
do that, you have to have a printer to print it.
okay.
Okay,
So if
so-
I had my own card, I could just print it on there and then he would be able to scan it. No?
yeah, but it's not really that easy.
Oh,
Okay, most people don't scan barcodes, so it's going to be okay. I got to take out my phone because how am I going to do it if I'm sitting at my desk? Right? It's not really easy unless you have a camera on your computer. Can't do it. So I would just do that, and that's like 12 characters. Give it to them on a card. Say, here's an example of the form I created. And then what? Then what? Well, what do you think the guy would think if he puts it in and the form looks good? Do you think anyone else is going to do that? You do? Other people applying for the job?
Oh, no, I thought you meant.
Yeah.
he was-
Yeah.
Right.
So other people aren't going to do it. So it kind of comes down to, oftentimes the people who get the opportunity, who get the break, are just the people who do more than everyone else. They're not smarter, they're not better. They just were better prepared. They did more to prepare. Or while they're in the interview, they do more. They don't sit back and hope that something good is going to happen. They make it happen. So this is a very simple thing to do. Now the next step would be not just to have the form, but to do what?
Yeah, the spreadsheet.
Right. Let him look at that stuff. Now, that might be problematic if you don't have a way to add him to share it with them. That could be problematic. But if you had a tablet, you could pull it up on the tablet yourself and then show them. And then ultimately, the next thing that you'd want to have, once you have a spreadsheet, would be what? We talked about it yesterday. You create your form, that automatically outputs to a spreadsheet, and what can you do with the spreadsheet?
Sort it.
Okay, well, you can sort it, but what can you do with the spreadsheet?
Make a presentation.
Yeah? What else? Map. You export the stuff to a map. So if you really, really want the job, you should know who their competitors are because you did your research, right? You did their research, so you should know who their competitors are. Thus, you can not only create the form, you can do what? Start filling it out. You can start answering the questions on the form. And if you start answering the questions, what's the form going to do? It's going to create records. It's going to create a spreadsheet. From the spreadsheet, you can output the addresses, and they will automatically go onto a map.
They should be getting paid for that.
Huh?
They should be paying you for your premium.
Well, you want them to pay you. It's called a job.
Exactly.
It's called getting employed.
Duh.
Okay, that's your investment of time.
Yeah, can't wait to use this out. Put
Okay.
it in action.
So, yesterday we quickly put, I think, 18 different forms up on the board that you can do. That it's easy to do forms at work. It's really easy to create forms. That's how easy it was what I was doing up there. It's that easy to do. Now let's say you want to take your form and you want to make it look good, because this isn't a good looking form. Okay, that's not a good looking form. Nobody's going to say, wow, that looks cool, right? So how do we make this form look good?
Maybe change one of the
How?
requirements.
You can change the theme.
About what? How?
Go to change theme up. Or the bar area.
Click on change theme, and it comes with a bunch of pre-created themes. So at this point, you might want to focus on the outside. You might want to focus on what are their colors. What is the colors that this business has in their logo, right? And if they have colors that are, let's say this green here, I would choose that. So when they see the form, without consciously thinking about it, if you have the same background colors as their company, what are they going to think?
You did your homework. research.
It's part of their company. They could see it as a company form. Now, what if you use colors that were their competitors?
Not good, not good.
Right. Not thinking about it, they're going to have negative emotions the right side of their brain is going to kick in. And they're going to have negative emotions without even really knowing why. So you start with that. Now what do you do? Because I don't really want this farm scene. I click on where it says customize. So I can change the header image, fonts, color of the fonts. I can change everything that's in there very easily and very quickly. Okay, so who has a form they're ready to share? You? Okay. So how about if you post it? So the link is right up here. Right up there. So here's all you do. Click on that, you select it. You go to your 9 square grid. Well, you don't need to go to 9 square grid. Go to your name, go to Google Plus. Okay, so you go to your Google Plus, you come to this thing here, you click link, you paste the link, and you make sure that my name is in the to box. Okay? Leader. Fearless. Fearless. Yes, better. Okay, so on your waiting. G. Double Aqua or Edward.
What did you put in there?
Okay, waiting. Still waiting.
You just want anything that we've got so far?
Okay, so what do we have? Okay, here's Monica. Okay. So what you did is you inserted a picture here. And is this part of it here? Why didn't you change that?
Actually, I was looking at the form.
Are we sending it as an email or how are you want it?
Alternative theme on the side and match the colors and photos and that.
I'm talking about this up here.
Yeah, I talked about it.
First name, last name, street address, city, state, set, email, cell phone. What service was provided?
Edit this one.
So let's go ahead and say that. Nope.
So it says add item, I want to add item. So you should pick any of those you want.
Okay, so that's a good quick form. Now, if you're going to spend more time on it, what would you do? Okay, so go into
Okay, now there you go.
this, go to your email. You should be editing, right? So go into share.
I thought, don't you get editing rights when you, after you share?
Well, it's not automatic.
Yeah,
You're
you do.
viewing on that.
So how do we want to share it? Are we share, how do we share it? Are we sharing it Google Plus or over here? This is by email. Send it to Google Plus. We don't.
Okay, how did you go about sharing?
Now, does he want it by email or by Google Plus?
You can also go to your email.
Can you come up to which means that they have to answer it.
No.
Are you live?
on your screen?
No, just, I mean, you know, just showing us, you can, you know, check on your screen, so now you have the questions.
Okay, now I have it.
Want to add another
Okay,
question?
so
You just go back
you
to.
take the second one out,
Yeah, edit.
right? That one's gone, second email.
Just add them.
Now this, you might change this
Just, you know, keep doing that, people, you
to
ask questions.
scale.
Yeah, one multiple choice means you do that into one, two, three choices. but what's the
One
question? What is the?
would be low, low to high. One is the upper side, one top, one bottom. So let's say it is 4.
Yeah, any questions?
He's not on books, he's in Florida, so that's not accurate.
Now, so now it looks like this. But what you might want to do,
Okay, that's a question. Alright. Okay, then if you wanna go to click on option one.
change this, to say go to a page based on the
On the
answer.
option one versus option two. And then there you're gonna type in a reference.
Okay?
1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, 6 months. Immediately.
And now, so what do I want to do? I want to add it to the page. Let's say this page is called the song.
Scroll down a bit.
Okay?
Okay. You wanna make a
Now, I might want to ask what question?
Then hit, and then hit done. And then on the same question.
Who gave you the song? Right?
That's what you don't have to.
Yeah,
And if I have a certain group of people,
Oh, yeah. That's out.
same as it's choice before, it's another choice.
and I can have what type of mistake, right? So I can have these other questions. So the idea, I'm going to add another. Right? So then I come back up. Go back to the edit. Yeah. Stop it. That's- Now if I go back and look at this.
We'll try to replace this.
You don't need
Another option here. Option 1, 2, or 3.
to get enough
Massage.
Option 1, yeah, put it on.
This to that page too.
Yeah, kick it in there. And then you can put it on. 6 months.
Continue. Now we do the side page. Go back. Let's say I said I had right. I continue. It takes me to right. So, right, so now I can have a lot of stuff, but people don't have to go through pages. I have to answer questions on things I didn't get. Yeah, okay, so, okay, who else?
I should mention it, but I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, thank me.
Oh, okay.
So William Engelhoff. And I see two. Okay, so let's look at Williams. Okay, competitor's name, address, city, state, zip, website. Okay, what is this? Option 1, option 2, option 1.
I saw the automatic, well, yeah, I can, try to
This one is not shared either. Okay.
Is it on there now?
I don't have editing.
Is it on there now?
There's your, this is your.
Yeah, scroll down. I just took it off. I'm fine.
So, who's got another one?
I thought I did, I don't know.
Form. All right, so here's Brett. Annual. Who's this one? Dominic, all right? And we know that Brett's is going to be clever, so let's look at
That's what I
the
just
annual.
said.
This point. Plain. Okay. What type of industry? Okay, so this is a different one. This isn't a competition. This is different. What type of industry do you need to enter? How many years of experience do you have in this industry? Okay. What type of special skills do you possess? Do you have any particular licenses? Okay. Any intention of getting any industry license? Okay, you got the box. So Manual did a good job of having specialized boxes in here. So this is just a simple yes, no. Here's the date. That's a calendar built in. That's kind of cool. And you route. Okay, so this is a good practical form. Good. Plain. So the next thing is you might spruce it up. Right. Okay. Okay, who else? Daniel, Dominic, we got another new one here. Robert McLean, new client type, client triage. Okay. See how that works. So clean, simple look, right? Good colors. Blue is professional. Glass, first, phone, city. Okay, so this looks like what we did on the Italian American Club membership application.
Exactly.
But it's very functional. So it's easy for people to fill out a lot of these. And when we have applications from the Italian American Club, some people go online, some people fill it out by hand, and that means here we have to fill it out. So having these check boxes for cities, city and state, make it save a lot of time. Okay. Let's go to Brett. Should we do what? Now, is this the thing you did yesterday? That everybody filled out? Okay. Good job. Okay, so in the beginning, last year, all of the students in the first class, Act 1, had to create a form like this for what they did. Did you have to?
Yes.
Okay. Tracking discussions, we had YouTube lessons. So every day, everybody would add to their form, keep track. So one of the questions was typing. Okay, good. So Brent has that on here. So this is a good functional, practical form. Except, why do you have a date thing in here?
For the date and the time of the tech talk.
Okay, but you're doing this every day, right?
Okay, got a point. I can do this sheet up there, though.
You should have
Or
said
is
for
this
when it
the
was
TED Talk
recorded.
information?
Yeah. I'm sure.
Is this the information when you watch the TED Talk?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be the date stamp, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what you could do here would be to have separate fields for what I put on the board in the morning, because then you could sort and find them easily. Like, in other words, who's the presenter, when was the TED Talk given, how many hits. It's always interesting to go back and look at, from this time we saw it to next time we saw it, were there more views? Good job. Okay. Let's see, this afternoon we're going to look at last week's things and figure out who the winners are.
Just come on with our
That's what I'm
cards.
talking about.
Come on with our Starbucks.
Which one?
Okay, never mind, scratch that, scratch that.
All right, so it's break time, everyone.
Come on with our Starbucks. And Dominic, you're gonna feel
Good work,
bad
everyone.
when we get the Starbucks card and you trade it on us.
Okay, Dennis, are you there still? Yeah. What?